All right. So the last part you'll need to make on your own is the nameplate for whoever the winner happens to be for the given month. And so the this file I'm going to leave in as is. It'll have Kristen's name in here as a good example of kind of how to orient it and how to fit it on the plate. But the base plate is measured exactly at that 40% scale size. If you just print the G codes as is, that'll work. If you do end up making a modification of the model, this is designed to be at that 40% scale from what the current model size is, right now. So if you do make a change to the model, you may need to reorient the base. But what I've done that seems to work well is the base itself is 2 millimeters in terms of depth, and then the nameplate is 2 millimeters, or the name extrusion or the embossing of the letters is 2 millimeters as well. So 2 millimeters gives you enough layers, sort of in each part, to render nicely and to print cleanly. If you could do less, probably. I haven't played with it too much, but this seems to work well where it's readable and not sort of overdone. Okay, so let's make someone else's name and kind of show you how this process works. So I'm going to delete Kristen's name here. What you want to do is do under Tools. Once you have just the base plate showing, Tools, 3D Text, it'll give you this dialog box. So we'll do Jeremy. I like to do all caps. It just simplifies the shapes in terms of how they're made. And I've set it at the font size of 8 millimeters. I have no idea on what scale that is. It's sort of confusing. The way to change it, if you do need to, is fonts and then height is right here. That height is not height of the sort of layers of the wording. That is height from the bottom of the character to the top of the character. And so that's a good start. You may need to change it. Make sure it's filled and extruded. And then this is the height of the lettering right here is I don't know why it fills in all those zeros, but 2 millimeters. So if you click place, you now have this text that fits pretty well. Now, if you have a name, someone that's much longer, you're going to need to do some modification. And the way to do that is back in that text dialog. Try your best to keep the 2 millimeter height because that seems to print well, but you can fiddle with this height of the lettering itself. If you go too small here, I would suspect you'd have some issues. And then there is going to be some limit in terms of how large you can go just based on the size of the base plate. So let's go back and make that one. Make Jeremy's here as an example. Okay, so we're back in here. If you're shifting around, it should just adhere. See how I clicked it there? I'll do that again so you can see when you create the 3D text. Also, the lines do matter. So if you have it like this, it will print it all the way like that. So I do the two rows of text, and that's reflected here. So when I place, I get it, and it's on my mouse. And when I click down, is when it'll place it. It is on the plane of the base plate when you do that. So it should be. So if you click it and you kind of eyeball it center, you should be on the base plate. The way to see is to switch to your orbit tool. You can kind of zoom in, and you can see that it's sitting kind of squarely on there. If you did need to move it, you can grab the move tool and grab a corner or the center point or whatever and move it around. But I think that looks pretty good. Now that this is ready, or now that this looks good, to export it, you go to File, Export, 3D Model, and then you want it to be an STL file, stereolithography file. Options should look like this. That's the default, but in case it got changed for some reason, you can name it whatever you want to. So we'll export it I think I call it nameplate. We'll export it there, and then in another video I'll show you how to slice it.